videos. We're going to go live, and I'm just going to say welcome here. Okay, and for everyone watching on YouTube, welcome to Sunday School 2. For second one today, if you are watching this a little bit later on, not live, then we filmed this live on Patreon, so welcome. And hopefully you enjoy. We're going to do a fun tutorial on foreshortening with my friends here on Patreon. Okay, and buddy Adam's here. We'll just wait for everyone else to admit them coming in here. We've got a few more coming in. Just give them all a second here to join. Where's my phone? Let's see how's the video's doing. Usually I'm just checking the minute by minute type thing, but it can be very deceiving. The first 10 minutes or the first couple hours could be very deceiving. Could be good, could be bad. Let's see how it's doing.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I have to look at every single notification.
Like, it's not doing too bad. And what makes me want to change the thumb a little bit, but there you go. Okay, there you go. So just taking a little quick look-see. And again, these things take time. They take. I told you my videos are slow burns. So there you go.
In your opinion, what do you think is the better time to post videos? I have not found the ideal timeline.
To be honest with you, too, it's more like there's a lot of factors to that. I would say it's more consistency more than the actual time itself. Because the more people know when your video is going up, especially when you're more starting off, or if you're just so people know at this particular time this week, and hold on, just let Ryan, that your video is going to drop, so they know when it's dropping, right? So I think that's a little bit more easier. Now it also depends on your audience as well. Now, the one thing about my audience is that 70% of my audience is outside the U.S. I have a much wider international audience than a lot of my contemporaries. So, I got a bigger following, like in Asia and in Europe than I do in the U.S., actually, to be honest. So for me, something that it's hard to find that sweet spot. Between everybody, because I have such a large international audience from all different time zones. It's so hard for me to find a time that works for everybody, unfortunately. But but of course, it's always better if you do have a better North American audience. It's more advertiser friendly. You get more advertisers interested if you have a bigger advertising audience. So if you're trying to cater to the North American audience, let's be honest. I'd say about 60 to 70% of people on YouTube are kids or people who are in school. So you might want to pick a time that they're not in school. Okay, so like for me, when I had my YouTube consults, they were saying that maybe it's better to hold it like at 7, 8 p.m. at night if you're going to release on a weekday. That way, if someone from the West Coast is watching, okay, it's the Eastern time. Someone from the West Coast is watching after school, they could come home and they could watch your video, right? Right away. Or they can watch it when it releases, right? And of course 8 p.m. on the East Coast time, and that's actually not bad for like Australia and the Philippines, where I'm from, like Philippines, because that's 12-hour difference, so that's like 8 in the morning for them, so they're awake at that time, right? So it all depends, but you find yourself trying to juggle that. Like you see Jazza, he posts at all sorts of different times. Like sometimes he posts at 8 in the morning my time. Which it would be like 5 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, right? So you just find what time works for you. I wish there was a science behind this stuff. There is. Yeah. There is a science, but it's hard to
Sounds like the goal is to hit up the cartoon time period.
Yeah, exactly.
Before school, after school.
After school, right? And then sometimes you will see YouTubers going, "Hey, man," like Rice Gum would say that all the time. "Hey, man, you guys home from school yet?" Like your audience, right? And to YouTube, you're like, "Oh, I'm at the high schoolers," I'm at the high schoolers. That's all high school people watching my stuff. That's it. That's it. So it always depends. So, but anyway, that's a little YouTube talk to get us started while we get into our real topic. We're going to talk about a little bit about foreshortening, and foreshortening is something that's very prevalent in comic books, especially. But even if you're trying to do like a dynamic illustration, understanding how it would work if you're trying to draw a pose in, at various camera angles, top down, or like a worm's eye view where the camera's at the bottom looking up at a person, where you're going to have parts of the human body that's going to be closer to the camera than others. Okay, and how would you go ahead and deal with that? Okay, so we touched a little bit on this when we were trying to do that posing video last week. Okay, but I find for me the easiest way to think about perspective is if you have things that are easy to think about in perspective. And for me, that's boxes. Like me personally, it's boxes. So I like to think of things in boxes whenever it comes to trying to draw something with a really weird camera angle, okay? So for example, okay, so just say you have a guy here, okay, and I'm just going to, oh, look at that guy. Beautiful. Beautiful. He's here like this. All right. And just say the camera is, okay, let's do a top down first. Just say the camera is here. Is like here, right? Top down, looking down like that. Okay? How would that look? How would that look? Okay, so I'm always trying to think in boxes, okay? Now when it comes to perspective, we all know there's vanishing points that we have to deal with. And what's a vanishing point? Usually it's where the camera is, where the camera's looking. That is like where the horizon line is, for example. So in this case, if I'm drawing someone in perspective going down, I imagine there would be like a vanishing point like somewhere down here. And it would all come up like this. Okay, so I'll show you how that comes into play. So, for example, I would go ahead and try to rough in this body, and I would think about it in boxes. Okay, so let's do a very rough box in perspective, thinking that this is my vanishing point. Thinking 1 point perspective. So just say this is the head. I'm going to go ahead and draw a box like this. They'll very roughly go down to my vanishing point like so. Okay? So again, guys, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. I'm not telling you guys to break out rulers or anything. Again, this is all thought process. All thought process. Okay, we have the torso here, which again, okay, so just think about it this way. He has a square box here at the top. He's got another box for his torso. Maybe another box here for his midsection. Another box for his pelvis. Okay, and I made him a little short, so a longer box for his legs. Another box for his shins or his lower leg. And a box for his feet. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking of. So I'm trying to draw that in perspective here. So I got a box here like that. I would go ahead and draw another box here for the what's called the abs or the waist here. Another box here for the hips. Okay, and I'm drawing this pretty fast, and this takes some time to learn. You're trying to understand proportions as they go back into space. Okay, but this is what I'm thinking about to try to get that perspective. Okay, you would have the legs coming down here like so, and then maybe even further down here, like the lower legs, and then you got an arm here, and then again, it's all going down to this perspective here. Got an arm here like this, and another arm going down like this. Same on this side. Okay. So you see, that's very extreme. That's a very, very extreme pose here. But once I have those boxes, or at least when I'm thinking about those boxes, that's when I could go in and try to sculpt my human inside these boxes. Inside here, I would have a head. Okay, again, thinking in 3D. I would have a head here. Thinking in 3D. This head. Okay, so this is very advanced. To be honest with you, this is very, very advanced drawing. All right. I would go here, and then I would start to rough out a body. So I could say here that my, down to the abs here. So I would go ahead and try to rough out the chest, like so. Maybe the head would cover a little bit of that clavicle. See, I remember one term, clavicle. Clavicle. That's the bone at the top of the chest. That's called a clavicle. And that's it. Don't ask me for any more names. I don't know anymore. Though I do know pectoral muscle. Everyone knows the pecs. That's what we call it, the pecs. And over here, this is what we call the traps, the trapezius muscle here.
Oh, see, body. You know so many.
A few. I've been watching bodybuilding videos. Just admiring. Oh, that's what it must be like working out. Okay, so there you go. And then, of course, the shoulder muscle here. So, but I'm trying to fit it inside, it's like a perspective grid. That's kind of what I did here. Kind of a perspective grid here. Okay? So you got to go ahead and then draw the shoulder here. Okay, the top of the rib cage here, side, and then the abs underneath, and the abs would go right underneath each other there, like so. Pelvis there, and then the legs would be very short here as they go down. Maybe you would have feet like right at the vanishing point, like that, right? The arm here, and then he's just doing a standard pose where he's just kind of standing straight. And then sometimes it's just a feeling, just trying to make this work out. Because always the hardest part is always trying to think, because it's such an irregular shape. All these muscles compared to like something simple as a box. That's why I like the box method, because for me, I could actually really see the perspective going on with the box. I know how a box looks like, what a box looks like in perspective. And that kind of helps me kind of shape all this stuff. So once I understand this, then I could go ahead and do some movement with it. For example, I could bring this arm out maybe, and then bring this arm here and have him with my classic clenched fist. Here, classic. Okay, and then let me grab my eraser so we can see that a little bit better. Right? Or the elbow could be a little bit closer to his body a little bit. You could definitely do that. This classic flying pose, like that. You could take one of these legs here. You could bring it up here like this. Okay. You could be running, or you could even bring it up, depending. Maybe it's a little bit flexible. You could have the knee coming a little bit forward. Like so. Let me just erase some of this so you can see that. Get the knee come forward a little bit. And then the foot kind of sticking out here like so. You could even turn the head. You could take the head and you could turn it up. Okay, let me just take out some of this here. You could have the head up here, turned up so he's looking forward. Or you have the muscles going like that, right? So again, guys, this is definitely something you would need to practice. This takes time. It took me forever to get this. Even now, I still struggle with it a little bit, right? But, the more you could put things a little bit and do a little bit more of these extreme camera angles, the more dynamic your drawings can look. It could really help in terms of putting a lot more interest in what you're trying to do here, okay? So, that's a standard thing like that. So the same thing when it comes to a punch. And we talked about, again, something we talked about last week. Coming forward with a punch, I would think about boxes, okay? So we have just say somebody's looking at us here. We have a horizon line that goes straight across like this. We have his head here, look at stern here like this. And then I would think about the boxes. Here, we got a box for the upper arm here, like so. We got another box for the, oh sorry, this is the lower arm. And then the hand, because we know the hand, especially in comics, we want it exaggerated, right? And then we got his shoulder here. Maybe here we have a box that goes like this. Something like that. Okay, going into extreme perspective here. Going into extreme perspective here. I actually want to shrink this down just a tiny bit. So I'm just a tiny bit like this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a big fist here. Look at that. A big one. A big fist. Look at that. Look at that big fist. Look at that. Okay. And then I see here, because of this box the way it is, I see that the forearm muscle can go like this inside. The bicep muscle will be here, and then the shoulder will pop up just a little bit like so, like that. A little bit like so, like that. So I'm going to just make this a little darker so you can see what's going on here. So this is actually very related to what we talked about last week. Trying to do something dynamic. Last week we had the foot come forward. Okay, so this is the same sort of premise as last time that we talked about posing. Same sort of premise. Okay, but this time it's the arm instead of the foot, because we did pretty much the foot last time, very, very similarly to this. And then you go ahead back into space here. Go ahead and draw the rest of your muscles here. Maybe he has another fist here, because I only know how to draw fists apparently. That's how it works. Okay, so something like that. I actually want to put this a little bit closer to his head, right? But that's what I'm thinking whenever I'm trying to get a little bit more of a dynamic punch going on there, a dynamic pose going on there. But doing it in a foreshortened way. Doing it with a foreshortened way. Okay? So it's up to you if you want to continue on this drawing or not, or even this drawing here. Let's just try something else. What if the camera was below? What if the camera was here? Okay, and this is always a hard angle to do. Now, this particular angle here, when you have a camera here moving up. Okay, so whenever you place a camera, okay, so we could talk a little bit about camera angles here. Whenever you have a camera that goes from top down, usually that gives the impression of looking down at somebody. So it can make a character feel inferior, okay? It's like they're being looked down upon, definitely shorter, you know? So, you know, if the character's feeling sad or lonely or something, sometimes you would have a shot like that where the camera's pointing down at the person, okay? However, on the opposite side, when the camera's looking up at somebody, that could give the character a sense of power, okay? Sense of, you know, size and strength, okay? Because we're looking up at the person. And even just that phrase, looking up to somebody, it means you admire that person, right? So, in essence, with this camera angle here, whenever you see someone put it up, sometimes they're trying to imply strength in that character. Not all the time, but a lot of the time that's something people would use to apply that, right? So it is a fun thing to try to do. So it would be the same type of thing. So just say the camera was looking up, like here. Just say the camera was looking up. And it would be the same thing, okay? So we would have a vanishing point all the way up in the sky, coming all the way down. And then this time you could start with the legs again. And if we think in boxes, okay? Now, let me show you a little trick, okay? When I'm trying to figure out proportions in space, okay? For the most part, if you think of a box, like this, okay? If you want to try to figure out where the halfway mark of the box is without breaking out a ruler, okay? If you don't want to break out a ruler, but you want just a quick and dirty way to figure out where that middle point is, the easiest way is to do a very rough X in the middle, right? We would do this. Do a very, very rough X. And I would say, maybe that's the middle point there. And then I could roughly draw a line. In between, and that is roughly where halfway of the box is, right? The middle point of the box, okay? You could apply that when you're drawing something in perspective here, okay? For example, so just say that's our vanishing point. We're here. And say I want our character to be yay tall. Maybe like this tall, right up here. Okay? In essence, this is our box. So if you want a rough way to find where that waist is, where his waist is, what you could do is try to do that X. So you could like roughly draw a couple lines here like this and try to figure out where that waist is. And you see, because this vanishing point is so close to us, you see how extreme that is, right? Look how extreme that is. The waist is there. The waist is there. That's very, very extreme, right? So you could do that. I think that's a little bit too much. I might bring that down just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add some boxes here for the legs. Another box here for the legs as well, going up to this vanishing point here. Pelvis here. Okay, maybe I will use it. And then chest. Another box here for the chest area. And the head's very, very tiny up here. Maybe this is like a giant, right? Ant-Man. It's like Ant-Man or Giant Man. We're looking up a giant man here. Okay? Maybe he has a big building beside it. There's a big building here. Look at this big building here on the side.
Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger there. There you go. Jaeger. That's what this really is. How to draw Jaegers. That's what this class is. Which is actually a cooler class, if you ask me. It's a much cooler class. How to draw Jaegers. Okay, so we would do that. We would go ahead and add the arms. Now, usually in terms of proportions anyway, if a person were to stand with his hands down like this, the hand would usually come down to the middle of the thigh. Middle of the thigh. So I would expect the hand to be maybe somewhere around here. While going all the way up like so. Okay? This is a very, very extreme version of this, okay? But that's the thought process when you're trying to do a camera angle this extreme going this way. Okay, and then from here you could go in and start roughing out all of the shapes here, okay? So we have the chest all the way up here. We have, maybe the chest will be a little bit bigger. Okay. Got the arms here. And again, guys, this takes time for sure. This is very advanced, this style of drawing. These angles here, it's not easy. And again, guys, if you have reference, it will make it a lot easier. If you had some references, take it. Everyone has a cell phone these days. Why not take your camera, place it on the floor, put a timer on, and then take a picture of yourself? going up, right? Why not, right? Just try to feel. Especially if you look like this guy, why not? Why not? Okay, so we have the quadricep right here. We have the knee coming forward here like this. Same on this side. Quadricep here. Knee forward here. Big shin. Big shin. Okay, so the knee should actually come down just a little bit more lower. Okay? Here. Big shin here. And then big foot at the bottom here. The way this is looking, this foot should come out like this way. Look at this big guy. So this is an extreme version of this. Now, if you don't want it to look this extreme, you take that vanishing point and you make it higher. You bring it up a little bit more, and it won't be as extreme as this. So I tried to go really extreme. I added the thing in here, and then you have the very tiny head here. Maybe he's looking over here. So something like that, okay? And again, then we could go ahead and play with the lighting. Like this is a cool, you know, whenever you see a shot like this, like a giant going like this, they always have the sun here, right? And they always have the sun rays going like this, so you could always shade it that way. You could shade like the extreme sun. Lens flares going on. So, just adding as much detail as you want. Of course, you could move the arms as much as you want. You can bring the leg forward if you want, whatever you want to do at this particular point here. But again, that's just the thinking I'm doing whenever I'm trying to draw an extreme pose like this. Something very, very extreme. Look how extreme. That's to the extreme right there. To the extreme. Okay?
So now when you foreshorten, do you just do it mentally?
Sorry, say that again, Nigel?
Now when you foreshorten, do you just do it mentally instead of doing like the boxes?
Yeah. I don't need the boxes at this point. Okay. But it's what I'm thinking of. It's definitely what I'm thinking of whenever I'm trying to put this together, or it's the easiest way for me to get that. Sometimes I will go to the boxes if it's just not looking right. Mm-hmm. You know, if I'm not feeling it's not right, then I will go back to my perspective background and try to feel if it works. Now, you don't necessarily have to do boxes. You could do ovals or whatever works for you. It's just because boxes, it gives me those perspective lines. And, you know, again, I was trained in perspective, so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of mentally see that, right? So that works for me. But at the same time, you know, you guys do what works for you in terms of trying to make this work out for you, right? So... cool. You know. So let me see what other dynamic poses that I could show you here.
Can you do that Black Panther one that you did in that?
Yes, absolutely. The Black Panther one I did for Jazz's channel. It's the same sort of thinking for sure, because that was that claw coming straight at you. Anything coming at the camera is always fun. It's always a fun pose coming at the camera. Very dynamic, very in your face. Gets the audience like really into what you're doing, you know, at the same time. So whenever you're trying to do something extreme like this, right? So
I'll start drawing it and end making it all the same size.
Oh yeah, right on.
Yeah.
And that could happen for sure. So let me see if there's another pose that I can show you guys. Oh, hold on 1 second here. Yeah, because I could show you, but they're pretty much all the same type of stuff. You know, always hands coming forward, backwards, and all that. Let me show you for shortening photography. So let me just show you some examples of this. Okay, so let me turn. Do I have the window capture still? Let's see. There you go. Okay, so we got some stuff here. Whenever I see an image like this, I think of Alex Ross. That's like an Alex Ross pose.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Kingdom Come or Marvels. Marvels. My son actually just started reading Marvels. I made him start reading Marvels this year. Like classic stuff, right? But that's definitely something out of that. Yeah, this is definitely an Alex Ross pose. He would always do something like this. You know, this type of pose here, that extreme pose. I like this one. This one's very interesting. It's a subtle thing, like just the hands right in front of your face, right? And this extreme length going back here, you know?
Yeah, because you brought up Alex Ross, I think it's important to point out that he uses references all the time.
All
to the
the
point
time.
Where he has specific people that are his models for specific characters.
No, absolutely. And to be honest, a lot of, not just Alex, like a lot of concept artists, that's what they do. For sure. Like there's this one guy named Armando. I forgot his full name, but he was a concept artist for Disney for a long time, and then he left to make his own book. He wanted to make his own book for his son, and he wanted to illustrate it, right? And to make the concepts, his wife went and sewed costumes for everybody, and he went out and he shot everything. He pretty much shot everything, right? So references that, it's part of becoming a better drawer, because you learn, right? You just learn how this works, right? This artist here, I'm pretty sure this artist looked at something, right? Because you see stuff like this, Jim Carrey here. Look at that. Look at that extreme pose there. Look at that. It's like, hey man, pull my finger. Look at it, pull my finger, sir, right there.
That 16 millimeter lens.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that, right? So, and it's fun. It's fun. It's dynamic. It builds a lot of interest, it can build tension. There's a lot of things it could do. Like even just something simple as this. Even just something simple as this. A woman holding a mouse. Like how much energy is in here, right? Like, it's just cool. Even without getting, all technical. Looks cool at the end of the day. And drawings are fun when they look cool at the end of the day, right? And there's lots of examples about this. So I will always say, don't be afraid to look up reference or take it with your own. Now, this is probably something that you could play around with your phone, but probably won't be, if you don't have like the right type of lenses, you could only do it up to an extent, right? But at the same time, it's always fun to try to do something like this, right? To do this type of drawing here. But even this one is the same type of thing. Like if I were to, and let's see if I could do this properly. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, and let's put this down. Let's see last time my pen wasn't working. Let's see if my pen's working today. Ah, it's working today. Look at that. It's just a much better day today, guys. Just a much better day today. Let me change this to display capture. Let's get rid of this. And display capture. Okay, so this, right? This guy here, and let me just fix that so you can see it. Whoops, 1 second here. Put this underneath me. Oh, I'll turn that off. And let me get this into the window here. So just say, so this guy here, if I were to actually draw this, I would think about those boxes here. He's got a very interesting one here too. Like if you look here, in terms of his torso, he's got like shoulders that go like this, right? And he has another box that go like this, and hips, and then down here you could see. So it's the same principles, right? But in real life. And then here we got a box that goes like this, that kind of goes up, but not really. And then he's got another box goes like this. You know, this box here. Before we get to the hands, and of course the head here like so. Right? That's how we're thinking. That's the way it works, you know, and that's the way the real life is working as well. Something like that, right? So it's that thinking of the boxes. So that's why the boxes helps me. That's how I'm thinking. What I'm thinking about whenever I'm trying to do something like this. Okay, and eventually, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll get at just memorizing these type of quote unquote techniques and rules that you don't need to do the boxes after a while. You could just go in and then just start sketching it out, but understanding how that perspective works. Because if I look at this right now, I can already tell that there's a perspective line. Okay, probably going like, you know, maybe something like that. Like there's a vantage point like somewhere down there. Something like that. And that's where it is, right? So always definitely something to practice, and it will take a lot of practice. But once you're able to get it, it can make your comic pages. It can make your you know, posters or covers. It could add that dynamicism that yeah, could really help. That could really help and be very, very engaging as well. This is like a very cool, like this could be a very cool Joker pose, you know? Be a Joker with his face like that. And I think I've seen a cover like that too.
I was gonna say it's a
right?
joke,
yeah.
Killing Joke variant.
yeah, there you go, Killing Joke variant, right there. And what makes it is this really, really crazy, extreme pose, right? That in some ways makes people feel uncomfortable, which you want the Joker to do, right? So you can tell this could be a very, very cool Joker cover. Okay, EJ, that's your job. Turn this into a Joker cover. Take a screenshot, my friend. Take a screenshot.
I will right now.
Turn that into a Joker cover, my friend. That's your job.
It'll be done next class.
There you go. Sounds good. It sounds good. Okay, so that's at the end of the day, you know, without drawing any finished drawing, that's my theories. Whenever I'm trying to do something this, you know, with this extreme. It all comes down to, you know, separating the body into something that's familiar to me, and then working with that, and then filling in the gaps later. And that's what pretty much we did with these three real quick sketches here. Okay, so yeah, pretty much that's it, right? And of course, you could always apply that with your own drawings. Maybe if you were drawing this, and if you wanted to go ahead and complete them, you know, make yourself an Ant-Man or Giant Man or what's that guy called? What's that called? The robot on Netflix? Help me out. He fights monsters. Ultraman. I was thinking Ultraman.
I was like, which one?
Which one? There's so many robots. Big robots that fight monsters. That's original.
They got views like that in Attack on Titan too.
Yeah, that's true. Attack on Titan. That could be a really cool Titan for sure, right? You know, it's funny. You know, I was explaining to you guys a week ago how it felt like Pacific Rim ripped off our Tokyo Storm Warning comic. But then my wife went to me, like, because I was complaining about it. And then my wife went to me, she's like, but weren't you looking at other things when you were designing that too? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, okay, you got a point. You got a point there.
You know, like Gundam Wing. Oh yeah, and then
Gundams. You know, Godzilla. You know, all that stuff. So not really original there. You know, who has an original thought these days? Not many people. So again, this was something I'd love to see if you go ahead and try to apply this to your own drawings. By all means, throw them up the Facebook. I think, guys, I am, and this is for everyone on the Patreon. I think I am going to bring us over to Discord instead, if you guys don't mind. The reason is because, like I mentioned before, there's so many people trying to join the Facebook group that are not patrons, and I'm getting confused. I'll be completely honest. I'm getting very confused of who's a patron and who's not. So it'd be easier if I just, you know, open that up, give you guys, you know, the access code, and it'll be a lot easier than me trying to figure out and try to let people in to that group. If that's the case, I'll probably send you guys that tomorrow. If that's the case. If that's okay with you, if there's any problems at all, just message me. Let me know if there's any issues with that. But hopefully I can get you guys in there It'll be a little easier to get that discussion going. Okay.
Works for me. I'll just have to have some of the youngins remind me how to use Discord. You know.
Okay. They needed that for me too. You know, it's like a message board, man. It's a pretty standard. You know what reminds me of? Before I used to be a part of the old Warren Ellis message boards back in the day. We would go there and we would everyone would post art and stuff. And he caught me once. I was trying to promote my work. I was trying to promote my work and he caught me, right? I was working at Dreamwave, right? And I made a username DW I said DW Facts or something like that. And I said, "Oh, look at this Dreamwave comic. That's totally awesome." And he messaged me like, "DW works. Get out of here, you promoter." He's like that, right? I was like, "Oh, okay, never doing that again." So this is one of those type of things. So okay, so anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts anyway on this particular subject. Do you guys have any questions on this? And this is the fun part about having people here live is that you guys would think about something you're not thinking about for sure. If you guys have any questions at all.
Next class, can we do suits and mechs, kind of?
Well, which one? Sorry?
Suits and mechs. Next class.
Suits? Oh, sure. Absolutely. We can definitely do that for next week. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. Okay. In the meantime, then, before we sign off, and we didn't do this last class, but I always like to hold on. Display capture. I always like to bring you guys on to show you guys before we take off here. So we got Taylor, Elijah, Kyle, and Adam. I hope you guys don't mind doing a face reveal for you guys. Hope you don't mind. If you guys would like to plug anything, by all means, go for it. If you guys want to plug anything, go for it.
Slowly building up a YouTube channel, but otherwise just doing the tattoo game.
Right on. Where can they follow you, Taylor? Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all at Tay Tattoos.
Nice. How about you, Elijah? Where can
about to get 100K on TikTok. So,
nice! 100K on TikTok. Fantastic, man. Yeah. That's great.
Good
that's for you, my friend. Am I following you on TikTok? I gotta follow you on TikTok now, my friend.
No, I texted you, I think. On there.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know. We'll definitely follow you there, my friend. Still trying to build up that TikTok game. It's for the youngins.
Yeah. I stopped for a little bit, but I'm probably get back at it.
Right on. No, absolutely. No, TikTok is it's the most, and I explain this to everybody. It is the place where you could get the most organic reach. Out of all the platforms right now, TikTok is a place. Like if you really want to grow an audience, that's the place. And you're finding that out, Elijah. Good for you, man. That's fantastic.
I'm probably gonna switch into art because before I was doing just regular videos, but I'll probably switch into art.
You know, you could have a mix. Like I have a friend named, I'm not sure if you know him, Colin Dark. Have you seen his TikTok?
No.
No, but he does a mix. Like he's an artist. He actually draws with both hands. And
really?
We did a reaction. But he actually draws with both hands. It's the craziest thing. He'd be there, and then he's drawing a face, and he's drawing one eye and the mouth with the other hand. He would draw like that. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy style. But not only does that, but he also does like reactions to other videos, and it's not even art videos. But he's doing like a whole array of stuff on TikTok, right? So you could definitely do more than just drawing, for sure, right? And people like that stuff, right? So and that was my advice to a lot of people who. Like a lot of young YouTubers who come up to me, and I always ask them, what's your purpose in getting to YouTube? Is it because you like making videos, or are you trying to build an audience? I'd say about 80% of them tell me they want to build an audience. And I said, you know what? Maybe TikTok would be better for you because it's probably way easier to grow on TikTok than it is on YouTube.
Thousands of one video.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just can't beat that algorithm right now. And you two places actually. TikTok, and if you're on the most business-minded, so if you just say you were looking for more of a job in Marvel, DC, or whatever, LinkedIn is actually really good as well. If you get yourself a LinkedIn account and start posting art there, you can actually get a lot of traction in LinkedIn. Those are the two. Way more than YouTube and Instagram. There's a lot of noise, and especially YouTube's so hard these days. Like you see, even me, I'm struggling with YouTube these days, right? But it's really tough. But you got these other platforms that people are going to. So congratulations, man. That's fantastic. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yes, awesome. We will definitely follow you. Okay.
Sorry,
go ahead.
NY made EJ. Yeah.
EJ Williams. Right on. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. How about you, Kyle? Where can people follow you online, my friend?
Just Kyle Horn Art on all social media, Instagram, Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Very, very cool. Okay. Adam, you have anything to plug there, Adam?
Nope. Same for I'm the odd man out here. I'm still off of social media.
There you go. Though. You know what? You'll be a lot happier off social media. Trust me. So stay off. That's the smart man right there, Adam. There you go. How about you, our buddy? Where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube, Comic Nerd Artist, and also Instagram. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you guys for joining today. Thank you who's watching on Patreon live right now. And again, if you're watching this a little later on the James Raiz channel, thank you for watching. Please do consider subscribing. And if you want to be a patron, just go to my Patreon page and just see if there's anything right there for you. Thank you for watching. And remember, I'm your best friend. That didn't sound condescending, did it? No, not at all. Not at all. That sounded genuine, didn't it? I'm your best friend.